Good morning, my fellow yogic travelers. I'm mighty glad to be alive today, and I hope that you are too, as we continue to live, laugh, love, learn, linger, and live the life we love. Mark, this one goes out to you. I got the camera and I got the mic. I hope that it makes a difference in the quality of the recording and the visual. I'm still working with the teachings of Emmett Fox, my New Thought mentor from last century. And here's an interesting idea that human nature never changes, and it doesn't have to. There's no need whatsoever for human nature to be different than it is. Now, at the same time, you have to realize human nature has a lot of funky things in it, like that story in the Native American tradition about having the two wolves, one that's a bad one that's a good one, and the little child asked the grandfather, which one has supremacy, and he says, whichever one you feed. So obviously there's a part of our nature that if we feed that, it's kind of destructive and what I call necrophiliac, worshipping death almost. But the idea is never to hesitate to approach spirit. Turn to spirit as you are. As long as you're sincere and wholehearted, spirit never refuses to help. So we live and move and act, have our being in the present, and that's the only thing that you have to heal is your present thought. So one of the ways you do it is review spirit. Think about spirit and what you think spirit's nature is. And you get a connection. Like a facet of the diamond, every other facet is equal to every other facet. So it doesn't matter which one you choose. The wholeness and the radiance of all the attributes will be there. So even when you pray, claim that spirit is making the prayer through you and believe it. All right, now, for my Native American mentors, honoring and respect, so important. Respect for everything. Cherish all that you admire. And remember, those who you admire, your mentors, usually see yourself as worthy of high regard. And the way that you learn to do that is listen carefully, speak with consideration, conserve and protect what is truly precious to you. And remember, in the middle of the word appreciate is the P-R-E-C. So when you appreciate stuff, you make it precious to you. And say it like you want to hear it. When you're with people, remember why you love them and why you're in relationship with them. And then love all the things in the natural world, because we come out of nature. So preserve it, protect it, value it. That is basically the good red road. Now, finally, I just want to share one or two things about what I call Imitatio Dei, the imitation of Christ. And it doesn't necessarily have to be of what we think is the historical Jesus Christ. It's the ideal that's most worthy for you to live up to. It's the standard below which you never want to fall. And the truth is, we need each other. The wisest of us is not omniscient. And all of us are smarter than one of us. So I've learned to be slow to criticize other people. Our judgments on things have a lot to do with where our sympathy lies, and our sympathy lies with compassion. We realize that most people are reluctant to give up their old customs, creatures of habit. They're slow to be led on farther than they can see. And so the only way we can invite people to play is you have to make yourself so charming, so delicious, so luscious, that they want to come out and play. You create a safe space for them to be able to open up and share the truth of their story and feel welcome. So when you take the Christ image as your ideal, then you want to help, you want to heal. You want to be a person who brings people together and not creates more division and separateness. Of course, there's the idea that there's a scripture usually connected to your culture. And the reason we might find these sayings of antiquity hard, but there's reasons why the authors said what they did. Some of it, of course, we know is maybe superstitious and basically bullshit. But others have deep intuition connected to us. And they're trying to bequeath to us what they understood about the spirit and their intuition about it in their historical moment and geographical location. So, for me, although everybody is flowing when things are going their own way, the real test is finding out who you are when things don't turn out the way you would like it. It's easy to make hasty estimates, quick judgments, but I would suggest to pick up the scriptures of all cultures and read it to soften your heart, not to divert your mind. Because in the end, I keep coming back to this teaching, as Pema Trojan would say, there's only one teaching, opening your heart. And then when your heart is open, you can hear things that your mind can't, because your heart has eyes of its own, ears of its own, a mouth of its own. And if you trust it, this is the place that you're meant to be. So, when you're tested, call on the love of Spirit.